Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Kompanion, and I am Peter. And you guys, it's been a long time coming. We finally got
Yes.
AJ Hicks up
Woo!
on the podcast here. How you doing, AJ?
I'm doing good, Peter. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. You play Edwin. You're one of the OG Cobras, second generation. I don't know the new cast. How about that? Because we have the OGs, and then
Mm.
you've been there since season one. Um, I'm sure you got a lot of stories. We'll kind of go through the seasons and just talk about like some of the bigger scenes. I'm not going to be like, oh, you were in this one scene, nothing like that. But there's one thing I've been meaning, or not meaning, but been wanting to hear your thoughts on for at least a couple years now. Okay,
Ooh.
there was a day, and you remember this too. There was a day you posted something, and I said, AJ, I'm gonna need a video review of the Popeye
Uh,
spicy chicken sandwiches.
yeah.
what
Listen,
what what do you remember about that day?
um, that day was magical, man. That sandwich was the bomb. And you know it because we talked about it. And I was like, Peter, this sandwich is the bomb. He was like, just do a review on it. So I was like, all right. So I remember I literally, when I opened the wrapper, like I knew it was gonna be good because just looking at the flakes on the chicken, I was like, all right, this is gonna be top notch. And then the bite, and I purposely took a slow bite because I wanted to taste everything. And I did. It was good. It was really
Yeah,
good.
I
Like,
I, I remember the first couple of words. You're like, oh my god.
yeah, I had to take a second. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
this is really good. And I just had a smile. I was like cheesing. I was cheesing.
yeah,
But
man.
yeah, it was
The hype
good.
was real, right? The hype was real,
It,
man.
it,
And
was, it was pretty real. It was pretty real.
doesn't that seem like so long ago now? Like what the whole debate, like the spicy chickens and all of that.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. It's crazy when I look back because that was before COVID and
You're
everything.
probably right. You're probably
Yeah,
right. I mean,
so
probably even before Netflix.
true. Or maybe like they just announced it, maybe that we got picked up for Netflix. I feel like it was around that time.
Well, I mean, it was like a year and a half, right? So you're
Hmm.
probably right. Yeah. Well, I think for those that aren't like on social media, like on Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. Well, are you even on Twitter? I feel like if you are, you're not very active, right?
I have a Twitter account, but I'm not very active. Nah,
Right.
it's probably
So
Instagram for me.
yeah, I've noticed that with the younger folks, even like Sholo, who has one, and yeah, he's not too active on Twitter either. But for those that like don't have Instagram or not on Facebook, because you're also in the Facebook group, they may not know that you are also a talented singer and dancer.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah, yeah.
Peter. Yeah,
It was, I mean, when did that start, and how did that start? If I'm sure somebody told you if it was like when you were really young.
yeah. So as far as like how it all began, I started singing around, I would say maybe 2, 3 years old. Um, Disney's The Little Mermaid, which is crazy how it's, the remake is coming out. Like that was my favorite Disney movie. And um I would always sing Part of Your World. Like every time I would watch the tapes, I would just sing that song. And one day my grandma happened to be overhearing me sing. And when my parents came home from work, she pulled them to the side. She was like, have you ever heard AJ sing? Like, have you heard him sing before? You need to like put him in lessons. And I think he's got something. So they called me out of the room and I sang the song for them. And everybody was like, whoa, and I'm just grateful that my family is so supportive. My father is a musician. He played the French horn. He also sang. My mom is a dancer. My grandpa, he had his own band. He played piano, sung as well. So music was already in the house. Music and dance was already always around me. So it was kind of me just joining the group. So like my family's been so supportive.
Right. You were next in line.
You're right.
Yeah, and you got siblings that I've seen do videos with you too.
Yes. I have my younger brother, Anthony, then my younger sister, Amber Marie, and then my baby brother, Anson. And they're all like into the entertainment industry too. And at first I was a little nervous because since they grew up watching me around it, I just wanted to make sure like they were doing it because they wanted to do it, not like just because you're used to it, but every time I ask them, they're like, this is what I want to do. Like, I have a passion for it too. And it's just been so inviting being able to like teach them things that I know, give them a little heads up of how to navigate through the industry so young. So like, it's just been great. And it's been more of a bonding experience for the four of us. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think family is really important, and I just it's a joy to see you do that, like with your siblings, because I'm the oldest of, well, my dad, on my dad's side, I have a brother and two half sisters, and then on my mom's, I have a half sister as well. And most of us, we kind of live like in different states and stuff like that. So I wish we were all kind of together a little bit more. But it's always nice to see like a family still do things with each other, So,
Right.
but shout out to all the A's. Yeah, I picked up on that
Oh,
there.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I also have three older siblings too. I have,
Oh,
yeah, it's Adam, Alan, Ariel. So we're all A's. There's 7 of us. We're all A's. So yeah.
Ariel is clearly named after the mermaid.
Yeah, she is. Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Shout out to the Little Mermaid though. Like that was one of my favorites growing up, and I have two younger ones, two under the age of 4. My daughter's 3.5, and my son's almost 2. And every night after bath time, I always put on a Disney video playlist on YouTube, and it always starts with "Part of Your World."
Wow.
So we watch that video, that clip almost every single night. And then from that it goes into like Circle of Life, and then Let It Go. And so, with the YouTube algorithm, we have very specific songs that they love just watching. Like I'm always like, man, how come Just a Girl isn't on this? But it's part of that playlist. But again, it I guess it only cycles the one that you maybe listen to all the way through, but it
Right.
always starts off with Part of Your World. So yeah, we listen to that almost every night.
Yeah, that song. So that song just does something for me, and I can't wait to see the new live action that's coming out. I know Hallie's going to be amazing, so it's great. But yeah, that song has definitely been one of the staples as far as like what got me into music, and also just being in church as well. But definitely those two things. Yeah.
Now, what about dancing? You mentioned your mom is a dancer. What was there like a certain music that she'd always play, or somebody played that just kind of got you moving?
Okay, so here's the thing. With my family, we're the party. We're the party of the family. Like we
Life of
were
the
always
party.
throwing parties growing up. Like there was always a reason to be dancing. And even if there wasn't a party, we would just put music on in the house and everybody would start dancing. So like I'm always like dance battling, and just different artists like Usher, Omarion, Lloyd, Michael Jackson. Like I would always watch their videos. I would over and over just repeating, mimicking their movements. And so like my idea was, I'm gonna learn all this because I love it. And then when we have a party and everybody comes, I'm gonna show off these dance moves and everything. And so, like just my family's very lively and together. So like the dancing part, just click on a song. It doesn't take much.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for the longest time I didn't realize that I was like a fan of a lot of Atlanteans, or well, what did Outcast call them? Atalians or
Yeah, AT-aliens, yeah.
yeah. So I listened to a lot of Outcast back in middle school. I was always a fan of Monica. You mentioned Usher. I started listening to, I feel, middle school as well. Like the very first song I heard of Usher's was "The So Many Ways," which I still feel is like, it's not a bop because it's not upbeat, but it's a slow jam. But big fan of Usher. Is Jagged Edge from Atlanta? No.
I'm not sure, but
Oh, okay.
Peter, I'm originally from Miami.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm
I
originally
don't think I
from
knew that.
Miami. I never mentioned that. Yeah, I'm originally from Miami, and then I moved to Georgia around 2016, I believe. 2016, 2017,
Oh,
2016.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm from Dade County. We call it the 305, so
Yeah, got it.
yeah.
Mr. 305.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Miami. We got Rick Ross.
Right.
We got Pretty Ricky, right?
Yes.
The
DJ Khaled.
Yeah, DJ Khaled. Yeah, I love Pretty Ricky. Oh gosh, if I'm trying to think. Flow Riders,
Trina, Flow Rider,
Trick Daddy.
Trick
Right.
Daddy.
I used to listen to Trick Daddy in high school. Also, you said Trina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all run together too. So yeah, see, like for those that don't know, I was born in Texas, like Corpus Christi, Texas. It doesn't get any southerner than that, more south than that. But yeah, I always had like a little something for like the dirty South in terms of the music. It was just
Hey,
yeah,
hey.
I don't know what it is, but growing up in Portland, Oregon, we always got music a little bit slower. Like I was always in tune with like the Bay Area and their music as well. I got family down there, and when I go visit, and their music is always up to date, but there was always something like a lot of. I mean, I know you mentioned Florida, but like Ti, Louisiana, I was a huge No Limit fan.
Right,
Trying to think of some of the other people I just kind of grew up listening, but a lot of them came from the South.
right.
Like yeah. So it's like in when I was in the Army, like because people often say like, oh, you're from Texas. I don't hear an accent. I was like, well, I was born in Texas, but I grew up in Portland, Oregon. But you throw me in the Army, and when I'm around other people with an accent, like the twang comes out. Like there's something about,
You don't even know when it comes out.
like yeah, it's just when you're around the right people, like it does just it comes out. But love the Dirty South music, Bone Crusher.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I can talk about Dirty South music. Luda, big fan of
Oh
Luda.
yeah, Luda.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Fat Rabbit is underrated. That's one of his early songs too. I mean, it's not Dirty South, but like Timbaland worked a lot with Ludacris, and Timbaland is
Right.
like one of my favorite all-time producers. So yeah, was
Timbaland, yeah. I pray like I just pray I get to work with him one day. Like, oh my gosh, his beats are sick. He's
his like
always
like I kid you not, he would like if I had a soundtrack to my life, it would be produced by Timbaland. Because I'm kidding, like I'm not
right.
kidding.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Me too.
Missy's my favorite artist. My
Oh,
favorite female artist.
okay.
Yeah,
I can't say
yeah.
like her tracks, are always fire. Her bars. Now that you said Missy, my favorite song, one of my favorite songs is Lose Control.
Yes.
Elliot Fat Man Scoop featuring Sierra. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's like if
That's
you want me to dance, if you want me to get up and dance, put that song on. You can ask
yeah.
anybody in my family. Just put that song on and I'm literally I could be full. I could have had 3 plates of food. That song comes on, I'm like, why would you guys do that? And I'm already getting up. Like
Yeah.
that's one of my songs, trigger songs. Just yeah.
Love it. Yep. I love Sierra too. Like see that's the thing. Like my I think my first love was always music. My parents talked about like when I was like 2 or 3, they played or some like Thriller was on or something, and I would just get up and dance. So like MJ was one of my like early favorite artists. Yeah, like gun to your head, what's your favorite MJ song?
Ugh, what a question. I would have to say Smooth Criminal.
Okay.
Smooth Criminal, but I love Remember the Time, Thriller, Bad, Smile. But yeah, I would have to say Smooth Criminal. And I love the Jackson 5 as well. But as far as like Michael by himself, yeah, Smooth Criminal.
Now this one I kind of discovered a little bit later in my life, and it became like I think it's just like the way he sings it. He already has a great voice, but Give In to Me, and the version I heard was like a remix with Youngblood, and it's really really good. And then the original is good too. So if you're not familiar with it, I'll link it to you.
Yeah,
Afterwards. Yeah, and when I tell people that, they're like, "Well, I didn't expect that," and I go, "Well, like." I don't want to pick something that like a lot of people know, and there's just
right.
something about like the obscure ones, the underrated songs. There's just
Right.
something about those, because like it's personal to me, so, but yeah, I just I grew up just loving like slow jams. That's why I mentioned like Jagged Edge. 112 is from Atlanta. I'm a huge fan of 112.
Yeah.
Drew Hill,
Mm.
so Anyway, so yeah, just yeah, I oh, also you play the piano. That's another thing.
Yeah, yeah.
When did you learn to play that?
So I started really young. I believe around maybe 5,
Wow.
6. And there was a time where I did stop for a bit, and then I slowly came back into it. And then unfortunately, my piano teacher, he passed away. So then I kind of stopped again. And then now when back in Miami, before I moved to Georgia, I went to New World School of the Arts, an art school in Miami. And they were teaching us about music theory as well. So that kind of got me back into it. And now I'm really just self-training, just playing a lot by ear, by what I've learned in school and everything, and just putting my own things together. So that's where I'm at right now as far as like my piano. But yeah, I started young. As soon as like after I started singing, they also put me in piano lessons as well, my parents.
So basically, the moral of the story is start them young if you want them to be musically talented. Yeah, yeah,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the message.
Well, so at what point did you decide, I'm gonna give acting a try?
Well, it's because acting, I was doing theater. I definitely was doing theater around like 2016. I had did The Lion King Jr. when I had first moved to Georgia. I played Simba in that production. But as far as like TV film, like around 2017, but I didn't really know about the acting game that much. I'm definitely more of the singer. So I was doing background work. I started doing background work for Black Lightning. And then literally maybe like 3 months into it, I was scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw a message saying, oh, new YouTube Red Untitled series looking for young actors who have dance experience or karate experience. And I was like, a karate dance show? I mean, I know how to dance. So I really submitted on the dance part, of that. And that's what really got me into the acting game as far as TV film, like just starting in background work. And I remember there was a time where I was doing Black Lightning and Cobra Kai at the same time, but it was getting too much, and I had to choose which show I wanted to stay on. And for some reason, something told me, like, just stick with Cobra Kai, man. Like, stick with Cobra Kai. Feel like Cobra Kai is the route for you. And everybody at Black Lightning was like, no, stay over here, stay over here. So honestly, my decision wasn't met with much positivity. But in the end, like, just always know to go with your gut, because my gut was telling me Cobra Kai, and look where I'm at now.
Yeah, and 5 seasons later, you still a Cobra Kai.
Right.
Yeah,
Loyal Cobra.
yeah, loyal for sure. That's interesting, because it would have been funny if like you were the group of guys that defected and went to like Miyagi-Do in season 2 or something. Like
Mhm.
you chose to stay with Cobra Kai, but they ended up going to Miyagi-Do. But like I'm a little uh like ashamed of myself for not knowing that you worked on Black Lightning. Did you ever cross paths with Keith Arthur Bolden, who plays the announcer Daryl from the All Valley Tournament Committee? Because he did some episodes too.
I didn't. As far as Black Lightning goes, I only did like the first 2 episodes, really, because Cobra Kai literally started around that same time. And so that's where I had to make the decision of where. So I met like most of the cast, like the main cast, but I didn't get to meet him yet. I didn't get to meet him yet.
Okay.
By the
So
way, nice dude. Such
what
a
was
nice
that?
Daryl.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I got to speak with him. I think like in 2020 during the pandemic. And he's also a professor, I believe too. Because when I interviewed him, he was just getting, well, as we were wrapping up, he mentioned his students were starting to pop up on Zoom or whatnot, and I kind of ended with like, what kind of um, advice you would give for people that want to get into acting. And he's like, this is kind of like good timing, because he had students that started to pop up, and he wanted to be able to kind of give the advice to them as well. What do you remember in the early stages of filming on Cobra Kai? The maybe not so much the auditioning process, but just kind of like the early production of it.
It was pretty new to me. A lot of it was very new because I had never been like on a set like Cobra Kai before, and I was just really feeling things out. And it was really cool. It was really cool, but a little nerve-wracking at first because I remember my first day, the sign-in area, there was like maybe 40 kids, 40 other teens my age there, and then with their parents. So like the room was like very like this. And I was signing in, and that's where I met a couple familiar faces, Cameron, Jaden, like we started like talking a little bit. Craig, I kind of met everybody through there as time went on, and just working my way through a set, going to wardrobe, changing in the same clothes, even though I wore it yesterday. I'm like, wait, we're wearing the same clothes again? It's like, yeah, continuity. So like, I was just learning a lot of things. So it was definitely a learning experience. That first season as a whole, just more of watching and listening, you know?
Right. Yeah. Observing and kind of learning the ropes. Before I forget, you mentioned Craig. There's something that you don't have that he has from a rap party. Isn't that correct?
Yes. He has the season 3 headband. He has a season 3 headband.
Yeah.
And
from Billy.
Man, I was like, because Johnny always gives them out. I mean, William, he always gives them out. And I don't know, that one day he was giving them out, I wasn't around. And so that's what Craig always like, I got this. I'm like, yeah, you got it, Craig. You got it, Craig. You better hold on to it tightly, Craig. You don't want to lose it. But yeah. He likes to rub that in my face a lot. He likes to rub that.
I do know that. He's brought that up to me before. I told him, there's definitely a few guys that I've been wanting to talk to for a while, and you guys all have your reasons that you kind of wanted to wait. So after season 5, I think this is definitely a perfect time. There's something I do remember seeing a behind the scenes footage of from season 1. I believe. I feel like it's been so long, so many people have kind of come and gone. I feel in season 1 there's footage of you with like earbuds in, and you're like dancing, and I feel like it's on the beach scene, where kind of like the other students are crashing on like the Cobra's party, or like whoever got to the beach first kind of thing. Do you kind of remember something like that?
I remember bits and pieces. What I do remember is how cold that night was. Oh my gosh. Whew, that night was cold. Yeah, they're like playing music, and I kind of was just, feeling the song, and I was dancing to it. I don't remember specifically if I had headphones in, but I remember they were playing music, and then, oh, funny story. They were during the rehearsal, they were playing the song, and then when we were filming, there was no music. So like in the first take, like I'm getting ready to dance, and then when they say action, the music shuts off, and I'm like, where's the music? And then that's when Craig was like, dude, when they're filming, they don't actually, play the music sometimes. Like you just have to act like you're dancing. I'm like, you have to act like you hear something. Like, what? So like, that was funny to me. That was funny.
Yeah, you're like, did I just go deaf?
Right. I'm like, where's the song? Where's the song? So I'm glad they don't see me. They probably saw me in one of the edit rooms, and they're like, what is AJ doing? What is he doing?
But you know what? I might be mixing up 2 different instances. Maybe it was a tournament scene where you're in a gi with headphones on, perhaps, like kind of in between filming. That could be it.
I'm always listening to music, so it could be season 2. Yeah. Honestly, I'm so mad that I don't remember right now, but I'm always dancing. I'm always moving around, and usually Craig catches it on camera. Like, I don't know if you saw the video from this season when I was in the lunch line dancing to Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic. I was in the middle of the lunch line. Oh
no, I definitely did not. I love that album. First off, yeah, Bruno and The Weeknd are my top 2 male artists. For the last few years.
They're dope. They're
really
good.
I actually have not been watching or seeing a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff, just because work, mainly work. Like I've decided at some point I really got to stay off my phone because like it's kind of showing you my performance at work. You know, like every few houses or whatnot, I pull up the phone. Let me see what I can find. You know, so I've been trying to
Right.
do better while I'm working. Um, but what do you remember from the very first tournament scene in season one? I have a very rare group photo, which I believe you're also in. I'll have to double check to see if you signed it, but um, I have one of like Johnny and a bunch of the Cobras. I feel Craig was in it. Owen was in it. Um, Gabe, a few of those guys. You
Right.
might know what I'm talking about, but yeah, there was a class photo with like names on the bottom, a rare photo, but
Oh
I
yeah,
have
I'm
it.
in that
Yeah,
photo. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And we're like I think we did like this, and then one we were like standing normal, and it was like on the actual tournament.
right. The mat.
Yeah, on the actual tournament mat. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah. So I got one of those. But what do you some memories you remember filming the tournament scene?
It was really fun. It was really fun because we've been hearing before the tournament that there's going to be a couple of the students that are going to join Sholo, Jacob, and Nicole to be the whole complete Cobra Kai team. And so everybody was just like really skeptical about like the gis, like what do they look like? Is it going to be like the original? So everybody wanted to be like an official Cobra, and I was like nervous because I really wanted them to choose me. And I remember one day they the big three, they lined us up, and they picked a couple of us. And at the end of the day, they were like, you guys are going to be our Cobra Kai for the tournament. And getting to wear the gi, like getting to see it and like touch it and feel it for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is legit. This is so cool. And then that's where I met Edwin, because I saw the name patch and I saw Edwin, and I was like, so this is and it was like, yeah, Edwin. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So it was great getting to see the fighting, the stunts, the snow, because being from Florida, I don't, snow was like a myth to us. So like like seeing all that snow, and I mean it was snowed in. We were snowed in, Peter. It got bad. Like at first it was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And then after a couple of hours, we were like, okay, is it gonna stop snowing? Like I slipped multiple times. And it was just great. We got to do snowball fights in between takes sometimes. Season one was fun. It was
Yeah.
definitely, it was great.
I remember the stories about it snowing, and I feel it might have even delayed like at least a day or two or something like that. Recollection, yeah. I kind of remember people sharing those stories. In season two, there's a few sequences that come to mind. Were you part of the mall brawl?
The mall brawl. No,
Okay,
no, I don't know.
so all right. So the other ones that come to mind is definitely the dance off between you and Nate.
Yeah.
Now, what I remember hearing is that you guys might have been having lunch one day, and word got out that like, oh, Nate can do some moves too, and like I feel like somebody was filming him. Was like, hey, we can use this, and that's how they incorporated Nate into the dance off. So what do you remember about the party scene and dancing off with Nate?
All right. So this was definitely one of the best moments I have, from season two. It was awesome. It was like, I feel like it was just those waiting periods where they were like switching camera angles and all of that. And John, he comes out to us and he's like, hey, we're gonna be doing a new scene, and we wanted to know if any of you guys know how to dance. And then I didn't immediately speak up, but a lot of the Cobras, which I thank them for, they're like, AJ knows how to dance, AJ can dance, AJ can dance. So then John was like, you can dance, AJ? I was like, yeah. So then he was like, let me see what you got. And like everybody was like watching, and like he pulled out his phone and he pulled up a song. He was like, just give me a little freestyle, let me see what you have. And so I pulled out my moves. I was like, all right, this is it. Let's do this. So right by the pool, right by the pool. So I'm dancing, and then after that, he was like, man, I didn't know you could dance. Yeah, we're gonna need you to do this dance battle with Nate. And I was like, word. He was like, yep. And so I went back into the house, and then they had me do like the routine that I did outside, and then they fixed the space to make sure like I was safe and everything. And everybody was just like, oh my God, AJ, I didn't know you could dance. I didn't know you could dance. So it was pretty cool. And then getting to film it, like having everybody actually come in, and then Jacob and Sholo and Peyton finding out I can dance, and everybody just like being so like really supportive and like cheering me on. Like, you guys can't hear it obviously, but when I was filming it, everybody was shouting, AJ behind the camera while I was doing my scenes. So it was really cool. And getting to see it play out when it actually came out, I was like, man, this is awesome.
I feel there was at one point we kind of, you and I, we kind of talked about it, and because you freestyled it, wasn't there like a few takes, and you also have to kind of remember like the marks that you were hitting?
Right. Yeah, that was another thing. I did the freestyle, and then John was like, that was great, but just remember everything that you did so we can do it again. So I was like, all right. I was like, give me like a quick second. And I'm just, like I close my eyes and I'm like replaying the dance in my head. I'm like, okay, I got it. So like I did it. I would say I probably did the dance maybe like 5 times. And it was really the song, let's get it started. So that was the song. So that threw me off when the show came out and it wasn't the song. I was like, that wasn't what I danced to, but it still works, still is good.
Yeah. It probably came down to like rights and whatnot. Right. Yeah. So that's interesting. What was that also the song that John pulled out when he first asked you to show him some moves, or do you remember?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a good song to dance to. So,
right.
Let's see here. And okay, so season 2, we also got the school fight. Now I remember you for sure in that one. I remember the Tori and Sam kind of standing. Circling. Yeah. So talk about that. What you kind of remember from filming Desi.
That was freaking amazing. That season 2 fight was awesome. Just being around so many fights at one time, and like the camera angles, and like we all were like working together. Like I would move to the left and let a camera guy go through, and then a fight would come over here, they would come down the hallway here. Like it was all one take, so like just being a part of that, and then being able to do my squabble with Jaden. If you look like right after Mitch begin their fight, if you look, you can see Jaden and I pushing each other in the corner. And then that was the day that John had told us that we're like rivals. Like that's my pairing, my rival. So like that was a big day for me and Jaden. We were like, so we hate each other now. I'm not feeling you, Jaden. Miyagi-Do, I'm not really feeling you. But I think it took like a week or maybe 2 weeks to shoot that whole fight scene. And it was great seeing the stunt doubles, the actual cast do it. Like I was still learning a lot. I was still in that learning phase of being comfortable on a film set and everything. So I was still just being very observant, listening, and just learning as much as I can. Because I was like, when my moment does come, crossing my fingers, praying that when it does come, I'll be prepared, because you don't want your moment to come and then you're not ready, because you never know when you might get it again. So it was just me just being on my P's and Q's, but great experience.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that you and Jaden. Now, for context, I know not a lot of people know like the background names because there's so many characters, but Jaden plays Abraham or AKA Abe, and he's got one line in season 4 where they're on the rooftop, and Johnny's trying to have them like jump from one roof to the other. And I think Jaden's line was like, "But what if we fall?" Right, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to give context, that's who Jaden is. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that fight and see you guys pair off. So basically, what you're telling me is Edwin and Abe were friends, and then in episode 205, he decided to leave Cobra Kai, and that's when you guys split up. So have you guys ever talked about a backstory about you two?
Every now and then, not much really, but it's really that we despise each other.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, he left. That's all the explanation you need.
Yeah,
really.
like you left. You left me? I'm your bro. Like, what are you doing? And he got poached, and we've never seen eye to eye again.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like Mitch and Chris, but worse because Mitch and Chris, they started lining up because of Eagle Fang. Um,
Right.
all right, so season three. Well, first off, what do you remember about kind of what were you told when YouTube decided to go away from streaming shows, right? And that's when Cobra Kai was looking for a new home. What do you remember hearing about that?
Well, to be honest with you, I really didn't hear much. It was just like praying on my end, like, because I really love the show. And, I was told that, we'll hopefully see you next season. So I was like, season three, I'm hoping for a season three, but then that whole thing happened. So it was really just me praying that it gets picked up somewhere and just finding it. And I would talk with like Craig, and we would talk about it and say like, hey, what do you think about the show? Like it's doing really well on YouTube. It did really well. So, hopefully it does get picked up, and thankfully it did. And then when I found out it was Netflix, I was like, oh, like I was like, Netflix. I'm glad Netflix got it. I'm glad Netflix got it.
What do you remember like the days after it drops on Netflix, like the first season? Because for those that don't remember, after it was announced it was going to Netflix, seasons one and two had to be aired first, and then it would be a few months later that season three would be released.
Right. Um, it was pretty cool. Um, as far as like, I was really amped up and a little nervous too, because I was like, this is Netflix, like one of the biggest streaming platforms. I pray that it's well received by everybody. And there was definitely a new dynamic, because it was like an influx of new people, new fans that were just getting into all the hype. Because I remember when I would tell people like, oh, it's on YouTube Red, some people would know, and then some people would be like, YouTube Red, like really? But like pretty much everybody knows Netflix. So when I started saying Cobra Kai on Netflix, people were like, oh, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see what is this about? And some people already knew, because it literally blew up. Like I remember like everybody was talking about how great it was, and everybody was just happy that 2 seasons dropped at one time. So it was like 20 episodes of this dope show. Like, let me get in on the action. And so it was just really well received. So that was a blessing. It was great.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember people talking about like the influx of followers on like on Instagram and
Right.
stuff like that. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so season three comes along, and obviously the entire world is finally watching Cobra Kai. Um, oh, gosh, I'm trying to remember some of the sequences here. I do remember specifically there's the park scene where the Cobras show up. You're there with Kreese and stuff like that. What do you remember about like Cobra Kai and Eagle Fang and all that? Because obviously that's when Johnny and Kreese kind of have their big dynamic. Because I remember the end of season two, Edwin was part of like the 8 people who felt
Favorite
that Johnny
Creed.
betrayed. Yeah.
Yeah. That part, that was, I was like, man, I feel so sad. I'm leaving Johnny, but at the same time, I was like, Edwin, he's son Kreese did made him stay, and when we got to do in season three the standoff in the park, I remember walking with Jacob and Chris, and in one of the takes, Peter, I didn't see it. There was a twig, a stick. I tripped, man. I tripped, and and everybody was laughing, because I'm like, I'm in my Edwin role. I'm walking, and so like it was bad, but everybody was laughing. But it was cool, getting to be part of that first walk off, because everybody was like, oh, they're probably gonna think that you're joining Eagle Fang, like you've turned a new leaf, and nah, Edwin is still the same. He's the loyal Cobra. He's still the same, But
Yeah.
that was fun to film. And the standoffs, I love the standoffs, just staring at everybody, with that mean mugging face. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, gosh, I'm trying to because in season 3 we have a lot of like Daniel and Johnny. Are they trying to figure it out together?
Right.
Kreese is still running Cobra Kai on his own. I'm trying to, man. I should have kind of looked over the episodes real quick too before we got on. Do you remember any other big sequences for season 3, or even memories of like filming something?
I really loved when we got to film the laser tag
Oh
scene
yeah.
where
Oh right. Did
Jacob, yeah, where Hawk breaks Dimitri's arm.
don't you
That's
say No Mercy?
I say do it, Hawk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love doing that. I loved filming that scene. Just being in the laser tag arena was just cool too, and getting to see the fight. And they're like, just shout out anything, just make Hawk do it. You guys are pressuring, peer pressure, make him do it, make him do it. So I do it, Hawk just came out. I was like, do it, Hawk. And then when I saw it make the cut, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. So that scene was fun to do. And then also the soccer match.
Yeah.
That scene was fun to film as well. It was hot, very hot.
Finally, a hot day.
Yeah, it was very hot that day, but it was good. It was fun. Whenever we get to do the standoffs and then getting when we got off the leash, when Hawk got us out of trouble, and Dimitri, Samantha, Cameron, and Jaden were standing off by the lockers, we were like, yeah, we're free. You guys are still in trouble. Bye. That scene was fun to do too. So yeah, season 3 had a lot of good moments that I remember as well. And just getting closer to the cast, like as AJ, because I've been talking a lot as Edwin, but as myself, like getting to know the cast, the producers, the writing staff, the stunt team. Like by season 3, that's when I really started getting like really comfortable and pretty much knowing my way around the set, knowing how to carry myself, and really getting to know everybody on a more personal level. And I just want to say, like, everybody is really, really awesome, Peter, to work with. Like, it's it's family. It really is family. And
Yeah.
everybody knows how to get along with each other. There's no fighting personalities. We all come here for a job, and everybody really understands how important the Cobra Kai story is to a lot of people, the legacy that it carries. So everybody treats it with so much respect. Everybody comes in with a positive attitude, and they're really my friends, my family. I love seeing them. I love getting to work with them. I'm blessed that I've been able to stay on the show for as long as I have, and there's never a dull moment with them. Cobra Kai never dies, for real. It's
Oh
awesome.
man, yeah. I love it. Love your energy. There's a sequence I just remembered that I would like to hear your thoughts on, because I was unhappy with Edwin at one point, and
Oh,
you and I, we talked about this in the DMs, and you replied with the devil horns emoji. But Edwin was part of the crew that went to go deface and TP Miyagi-Do in season 2.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. I still get DMs till this day about, why would you do that to Mr. Miyagi's car? How dare you? I'm like, it's just a character, man. I love Mr. Miyagi. Like, it's just a character, please. Like, Edwin, Edwin, he knew what he was doing. But AJ means no harm, Like,
Right.
I get it, but I understand. And that shows you, till this day, I'm still getting messages about it. Like, that's how big Mr. Miyagi is, how important, how much of a role model and a figure he is in the Cobra Kai community. Like, don't talk about Mr. Miyagi any kind of way. You can get in trouble, like, seriously. And so when they told us what we were doing that night, I was like, we're gonna do what? like we're gonna spray. Oh man, we're gonna start some mess. So that was cool. Yeah, that night, I'm telling you, Peter, till this day, people DM me when they go through the season. They're like, you're an awesome character, but when you spray painted Mr. Miyagi's car, wasn't really feeling that. Wasn't really
Yeah.
feeling that good. Yeah.
So I gotta ask, because we see them go there at night, and then it was the next day where we see like the aftermath.
Right.
Did you guys actually, like you and Jacob, did you guys actually get have any part in helping the way it looked?
No,
Okay.
no, we really just, what you saw, that's what we did.
Right.
He like passed me the spray can, and I just shake it a bit, and then we just pretend like we're gonna do it. But yeah, the set dressers, which they did an awesome job. I was like, oh my gosh, we did all of that. I was like, oh, it looks really bad.
Oh no, they're gonna kill us in the fandom.
Yeah.
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 So season 4 was, to me, felt tonally was just different. Like it felt more cinematic. What was a word I often use? Like the way it looked, and Tanner really blew me away as Robbie in season 4, and Peyton as Tori. Just kind of like their character growth and arc and all that stuff. It was really good. But also we have the return of the All Valley tournament. So what do you kind of remember from that?
It was great being in the same place. Wait, no. I don't think we were in the same place. No, we weren't in the same place. But it was just great getting to wear the gi again, because we hadn't worn it since season 2, I believe, when we did the parade, the All Valley parade, with the fireworks and everything.
Yeah. Valley Fest. Yeah.
Valley Fest. Yes, that's what it was called. So I hadn't worn it in over a year and a half. So like putting on the gi again, just that feeling, and then getting to share that experience with the newer Cobras. They're like, so how does it feel wearing the gi? Like, I'm so excited. I'm like, you're gonna love it. Like it's another thing, like the sleeveless, like just the look is just so seamless. It's so tight. Like, I love Cobra Kai. It's so good. And getting to see the fights again, getting to see, like how you said, the character arcs and the growth, and then getting to see Dallas, Sela as Piper, like getting to see everybody, Joe, do their thing. Like, it was just great. It was great. And the fights, the stunt choreography put together by Ken, Don, and the rest of the stunt team, like, they're phenomenal. And that was really like an eye-opener for me. Like, whoa, they're really putting their all into this. Like, you can really see the effort in the fight scenes. Like, everybody was working together to get those scenes done. And so just being in the atmosphere of it all was just really cool. And just looking back, like, man, this is your second All Valley. Like, this is tight. AJ, Edwin, all right, let's go. So it was cool.
Also in season 4, we got the introduction to you guys, either way, of Sensei Silver. So what do you remember about Thomas coming into the dojo and having him be part of the cast now?
Well, first, I had to do this. He is so tall, and he's a great spirit to be around. Like, he's so open and inviting, and I was a little nervous at first, honestly, but he's a really cool dude. And like getting to see him fight, like when he was showing us the kicks and everything, like his legs, those kicks, it's like 6 feet apart. It's like you got a social distance from his legs. Like, dude will touch you now, but he's really cool, and really intense. And I'm lucky that I was able to be there since season 1, because I got to go through each sensei and what each sensei brought to Cobra Kai, how they all have their different energies that they bring into from themselves and what they put into their students. So like Silver, it was definitely like even more tough, even more no mercy. Like it was definitely intense doing the scenes with Silver. But as soon as they would say cut, big smile, like just like, hey everybody, how did that go? How was that take? You know, like really cool dude. It was great getting to work with him. Season 4, season 5, just awesome.
Right. And I never thought about, like, you've been under like a different sensei in every season. So that's a great transition into season 5, where we have Alicia, Hannah Kim, join the cast as well as Sensei Kim. So let's talk about season 5.
Season 5, the big 5. She's amazing. She's so nice. She's just such a nice person, and like getting to meet her for the first time. And soon as they say action, Peter, like her whole demeanor immediately switches. Like she's Sensei Kim, like immediately. And she's so tough. And I love how it was just fresh seeing a female sensei for Cobra Kai. Like it was just so fresh and different. And she really brought a lot to the show and added so much more to it. Getting to do the scenes with them together, Sensei Silver and Sensei Kim, that was awesome. And it definitely, as far as like what we had to do in class, got even more advanced. They asked even more from us, because usually, like, as far as like the background Cobras go, it was a lot of like, you see us doing some punches, kicks, but like season 5, it was definitely more choreography. It was definitely more that they were asking from us, because they're like, yo, this is season 5. You guys are in Cobra Kai. Sensei Silver doesn't play around. Sensei Kim doesn't play around. So they're really drilling you guys, preparing you guys. So we're going to need even more choreography, more technique. They're definitely watching us more on making sure our form was correct and everything. Like, it didn't matter whether you were main cast or background. If you were Cobra Kai, like, you had to be on point, because they wanted us to all look in unison, and that was important. So definitely was more of asking from us. And then, you know, season 5, like that finale scene, the fighting. I want to thank Ken, Don, the stunt team, the writers, the cast, everybody, literally everybody, because getting to fight, being a part of the action, and getting to say that line, getting to say, bitches, like that was awesome. And it definitely was a highlight for me. And I remember coming home that night and I was like, hey guys, you know, I got a line today. And everybody was screaming, my mom, my siblings, my aunt, everybody was like screaming, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It was so cool. And preparing for the fights, training for the fights beforehand. I got to work with Joe a lot. Joe CO, I got to work with him a lot, and he's a really awesome dude. He's amazing. He's really supportive. And then I haven't posted it yet, so I won't say too much, but I have like some more behind the scenes from that night that you'll see. And everybody was just really supportive. It was great. I'll never forget that day, December 6th. I'll never forget it. Edwin, like, officially, like, in the story, like, bitches, like, I just needed something, and it was awesome. And John, Josh, Hayden, they were really happy for me, and it was great. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched it.
I mean, it's my favorite finale. Did you get like added to stunts for season 5?
Yes, I
Can you talk
did.
about that?
So, like I was saying a little bit before, like, remember how I was saying, like, they were asking a lot more from us? I got approached by Ken and Don earlier in the season, and they're like, you know, AJ, like, you've been here since season 1, so we really want you to show like you have grown, like you're really in karate, you're really in the dojo, you're really Cobra Kai. So as far as like not filming, during our off time, I would get pulled aside by one of the stunt team members. Thomas, he would train me privately on the side, and like we would like train certain stuff, and they were allowing me to do little stunts throughout the season, like at the water park where we put Anthony in the tubes. That's usually a stunt job, because, you know, if you don't have the clearance to do certain things, they're not going to allow you to do it just for safety reasons. So they were giving me opportunities to show like, hey, I am ready, like to do some, you know, more advanced stunt work and everything. So then by the time episode 10 came around, I was sleeping and Jess called me, but I didn't have his number. So it was just a random number. I was like, someone told me to pick up. So I just picked up, and, you know, I'm still a little tired. I'm like, hello, good morning. And he's like, AJ. I'm like, and the voice sounds familiar. I'm like, who's this? He's like, Jesse from set. I'm like, oh, Jesse, hey, what's up, man? He's like, I just want to let you know that for the season finale, we want to have you join our stunt team for the episode and really get you into the fight. And I was like, you're playing. He's like, no, I'm not. So like, I'm in my bed and I like take the sheets off, and I'm like, I get up and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, of course. Like, I'd love to. And he's like, okay, great. And like, he gives me the whole rundown of how many days we're going to film, what things I need to bring, and to come early. Like, I really had to come early on set to rehearse. And it was just different. It was really different. Like, going into the training facility, because on set there's like a stunt training room. that they rehearse all the fights for and everything. So I got to be in there for like the first time, getting to meet new people, new stunt team members, and getting to practice and not being afraid to get hit, like taking some hits, wearing the padding under my wardrobe. Like all of that was definitely new for me. And then being on set and actually doing it full out. Like, I know in Sensei Silver's office, you know, those swords that were lined up along the side, like during the fight, after I get punched, I had to throw myself. They wanted me to throw myself into the wall. And I'm like, you want me to throw myself into the wall? They're like, yeah, you got to do it. Like, this part of stunts. And I was like, you're right. So like after Dimitri punches me and I throw myself against the wall, and it's like a boom. And I'm like, I was afraid that I messed things up. And they're like, no, this is what you do. Like, we're expecting all this. Like, you're part of the stunt team now. Like, this is expected. That's what we want. So you actually look like you're getting hurt. And so when Hawk kicks me, like learning how to turn my face at the right time so that it looks like it actually landed contact. Like, again, I went into that learning mode, observing. So it was just such a fun experience. And I remember Jacob, when he found out he was fighting me, he was like, what? I'm fighting you? Like, what, man? Oh my gosh. And he like picked me up. He like lifted me up. He was like, let's go. So like I said, like the whole family vibe on there, like everybody was just cheering me on the entire time. I didn't feel nervous. It was just really intense, but a good intense. Like, I was like, this is awesome. This is something new. And just a very memorable experience for me.
So you've been there since season 1, and you were in the same dojo for 4 seasons.
Right.
Tell me, what do you remember about the new dojo in season 5 when you guys first showed up?
Okay, so I walked in, and usually on the set, after you pass the welcome area, the entrance, Cobra Kai is like the first built set that's there. So usually I just walk into it and I just take that right, and I'm right into the dojo. But then when I walked in, I was like, wait, did they move the set? Did they move Cobra Kai? Like, did they rebuild it somewhere else? And it's like, no, it's right there. Like, walk in. But then, like, the way he was saying it, the PA was saying it was like something different. Like, it looks different. So when I walked in, I was like, no way. This is so freaking cool. Like, I was like, if Edwin were real and like this whole universe existed, I would be at Cobra Kai for sure. Like, I'd be like, Mom, I need to be at Cobra Kai. Like, you need to see the facility, like the whole smoothie bar, the workout machines, the lighting in the dojo, the red and blue lights, and then seeing Terry Silver's face plastered against the back and the mats. It was so cool. It was definitely cool.
I mean, Johnny didn't have an Amber, working the front desk.
He did it. He sure did it. There was no Amber. No, there was no staff. It was just Johnny. But yeah, it was different, but a really cool different. I was like, wow, Terry Silver isn't playing. He's really taking Cobra Kai, taking over the valley for sure. Yeah.
I mean, in my interview with Alicia, I told her, I go, I'm Miyagi-Do. I have been for decades. And all the marketing and, the trailers, obviously I got a early advance screening with so I'm like, man, that Silver's not a bad sensei. I mean, he's got some questionable, things that he does, but like even that scene where he's talking to Tori, talking about like, well, is it cheating? If like you're stealing food, and all that stuff. Like I buy into that, and
yeah.
but like all the marketing for Cobra Kai, the show coming up, all the posters everywhere, all the billboards. I'm like, I gotta lie, like Cobra Kai is doing it right. So
can you say that? Can you say that again, Peter?
Cobra Kai was doing it right. I mean, come on.
Okay. I just want to make sure I heard that right. I just want to make sure I heard that right. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a sequence that please give us some insight on the sequence where the Cobras dunk Anthony into the toilet.
Oh man, yeah, that was a fun day for sure. I didn't know what I was going to be doing that day. They told me that it was just going to be a few of us. It was going to be a quick scene, but a really fun scene. And I was like, okay. And I'm trying to put the pieces together. And then when I see Anthony, and I was like, something tells me we're gonna be bullying him. I was like, what are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? And they weren't telling us, because that was the last scene we filmed that day. So it was like all the way to the end of the day. And then I see like they're putting cameras in the bathroom. So I'm like, we're gonna jump him in the restroom? And they're like, yep, you guys know Cobra Kai. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be cool. So then we practice how to carry
Griffin.
Anthony, how to carry Griffin into the bathroom stall. Then they're explaining the scene, and they're like, the toilet wasn't dirty yet. It was a clean toilet, you know. And then all of a sudden we're doing one take, and then when we opened the door, it was like brown. I'm like, whoa. Like I actually was like, what's going on? Like the toilet's dirty, like somebody used the bathroom. No, we fixed it. They used Pepsi. They used a Pepsi can and then a Snicker bar. It was like, ugh. It was like, it looked pretty realistic to me, but it was fun. It was definitely fun, like getting to mess around with Griffin like that. And he was like, dunk me, guys, just dunk me. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, do whatever you guys need to do. So yeah, I held off to that moment with my family. They're like, so what was that last scene that you guys did? I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I want you guys to see it for yourself. And they're like, just tell me. I'm like, no. And they're like, who are you guys bullying? They thought it was Hawk. This whole time they thought that we were gonna bully Hawk. It was like, no, you guys are off. Yeah, it's not Hawk. It's not Hawk.
No, not Hawk at all. As we get ready to wrap up, I mean, I could talk to you for hours because I know you just got more stories, but we gotta save some for the next time you come on,
Right.
But
and our dance battle, I didn't forget about it, Peter.
Oh man, I did.
You challenged me, man. I don't forget challenges.
I did. Do you remind me of the details?
You're like, oh, I love that dance scene, AJ. But I dance too, and I've been working on my skills, and I want to put them to the test. And I was like, okay. So what are you trying to say? He was like, I guess that means I want to battle you. I want to challenge you. Like I'm ready. And I was like, so Miyagi-Do against Cobra Kai again. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. You thought I forgot, Peter? I
mean, well, so I might have been overhyping, like I like to dance. When I say I can dance, I'm not like AJ level. You're like up here. In comparison to AJ, like I'm a novice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like I can get down, but I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time to work. And I got those kids, but don't worry.
Okay.
We'll have it one day. But so let's talk about the big fight sequence. Some of the things you remember because it was such it takes up a lot of the episode. It's like the episode itself is about 45 minutes without the credits, and I don't remember where we last see Edwin as the episode ended, because there's a few like Kenny and Kyler. They all take off their shirts and their gi, well, not gis, but mostly shirts. Right. But can you remind us where we saw Edwin last?
Yes. So after the whole fight scene happens and we're outside the dojo with the fire department and everything, I'm standing right next to Joe. I'm standing right next to Kyler. Edwin's with Kyler when he's explaining his story to the cops.
Kyler's version of the story, yeah.
Yeah. What happened. Kyler's version of what happened in there. He's hilarious. A lot of his stuff that he does sometimes is improv too. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Like Joe, he's like a lot of on the fly, and he's so cool. He's so cool.
I wonder if it was scripted where he's eating the proteins. It's like tastes like crack, like the way he says it.
I'm pretty sure that was improv. Like,
or is that crack? I don't know what crack tastes like. I mean, but yeah, it's just like his inflection. It's pretty funny. Kyler's a funny guy.
Yeah, and then also about that scene where a lot of Cobras are throwing their gear off at Silver. I was supposed to be one of them, but my costume didn't have any Cobra Kai affiliation on it. So they wanted me to throw it, but because I already been established in that outfit, they were like, oh, okay, well then we'll just make sure that we have you with Kyler outside so that people know where Edwin is, so that people have an idea of where you are.
Okay.
So yeah, but I was
That,
ready. You're
yeah,
like, you're gonna take it off. I was like, but I don't have anything Cobra Kai. And they're like, ah, man, okay. So we'll make sure we see you outside. So
that makes a lot of sense. It'd be funny if there was like a cut scene where like Edwin, kind of grabs one of those shirts just to be like, just so he could throw those stuff. Let me get in on this.
like take it off of his face and then
Yeah.
throw it.
Right. I did notice. I don't remember Chris Lewis. I don't remember his character's name, but when him and Shane, or was it?
You mean Chris Lewis? Red?
Yeah. Do you remember his character's name? Is it
I think
Lawson
they
or
just
something
go
like
by
that?
Big Red.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, Big Red. Because they got character names too because of the season 4 geese.
Right.
But okay, so yeah. So Big Red, obviously him and Little Red finally reconcile at the end because we all, a lot of us know that they're real life brothers, but in the show it was never really confirmed. Like you could kind of figure it out, but
speculated, but
yeah,
it wasn't like
exactly.
official.
But because like in the fandom, we're always like, man, what's dinner at, like at home, that kind of thing. But because Big Red, he's still wearing the Cobra Kai shirt, but you're not gonna have him take off that shirt. He'd just be topless.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting, though.
Yeah, and speaking of Chris and Shane, they're also like two really close friends of mine, like growing with them since season 2. Like they're amazing. Their mom is amazing. Getting to work with them is so cool. And that night where we spray painted Mr. Miyagi's car, Chris was there too. And from that moment forward, that's when Chris and I really like building our relationship and talking with each other. Cause at first, like the season 1 Cobras and the season 2 new Cobras, like it wasn't like bad blood or anything. It was just we were like kind of nervous to like talk to each other and like come together. But like towards the middle of the season, we definitely grew more comfortable with each other and started to create friendships. And now Chris and Shane, they're like my boys. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
I'm so happy for them. I was so happy for them. It was like announcement after announcement. Like I got to talk, then Chris got to talk, then Shane got to talk. Like it was just like so many surprises. And John, he was like, people aren't gonna know what to do when they see like this huge fight, and then people that are now talking now, they're like, whoa, did he just say something? Wait, so just said something. So like he was really excited. The big 3 and the writers, they're like, people are not gonna know what to do with themselves. Season 5, episode 10. The finale was definitely a huge finale.
Yeah, absolutely. One last question for you as we conclude this conversation here. What was it like to kind of see Yuji implemented, chosen, into the storyline in season 5? What was it like for you seeing him on screen, but also your observations filming?
Chosen, Yuji, he definitely is a starlight for me. Season 5, his character, oh my gosh, Chosen is from the first episode to the last episode. He just had this arc, incredible arc. It was just great to see him. Unfortunately, as far as like getting to see him in person and filming, we didn't really have too many in-person interactions. I did see him that first time where he comes into the dojo with the other senseis when he's undercover.
Sensei Joe.
Yeah, Sensei Joe. Like I just knew, I was like, I didn't know what his story was that's for season 5 at the time, but I was like, if he's in here, he must be a spy, because I know he would never step foot into Cobra Kai. So like it was a lot of like putting the story together myself with his character, but like just getting to watch it, I'm really a fan of him, honestly. Like his character Chosen, I've become a fan. Like he is incredible. His fighting was intense. He's funny. His relationships with Daniel, like how that from the Karate Kid Part 2 to now, like how much things have changed. Like it was great. His arc was incredible, and I love his character. So good.
I'm just glad that people are finally seeing what I saw from Karate Kid Part 2.
Right.
Like bad guy, schmad guy. Like that's that's a badass. That's how I felt growing up.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
badass.
yeah, badass indeed. Like I feel like the people that are just kind of discovering, like, oh man, Chosen's a really good character. I feel maybe that's kind of like what it was for us growing up watching Mr. Miyagi. Because Mr. Miyagi was a badass in his own way. You
Right.
know, and it didn't necessarily click until like season 4, where Daniel had to remind Johnny that, like, well, Mr. Miyagi was a badass. Like he wasn't like all offense. That kind of
Right.
thing. Because Mr. Miyagi saved his life in the beginning of the second movie. So
Yeah. It's all about
yeah,
perspective. It's
yeah,
all about
absolutely,
perspective. Like
yeah,
badass means different things to different people, And it's like
absolutely,
you don't have to get stuck in just one way of what popularity and society deems as badass. Like there's so many levels to it, and that's what I love about the show. Like everybody in the show is badass, but in their own right. And what I like is that now people are starting to appreciate their own way of being badass. Because some characters, they were always badass, but they didn't accept it or know that. But now they're like coming into their own, like, hey, I may not be Cobra Kai or anything, but I'm badass. I'm my own badass. What I do is for me and it works for me and it helps me get through life and create relationships with people. So that's my way of badass. And you can either like it or you don't, but I'm going to still be me at the end of the day. I'm not going to change who I am to, fit,
right,
I
right.
love everybody's their own person.
Yeah, I feel there's a message there. Embrace your inner badass.
Right. Embrace your inner badass.
You like
Cobra
that?
Kai. Yeah. Embrace your inner
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's different levels of badass. I mean, we learned from Johnny that news about being pregnant is badass, right?
right.
So, like,
I love
literally,
that.
yeah. So, man, season 5 is so good. Um, yeah, you mentioned, the growth in you guys' relationships with the cast. Like, I think it's amazing. And for me to cover the show for 5 seasons, speaking with the cast members for the last 4 years, it's been a really great ride. And I know John, Josh, and Hayden are working on Obliterated, so we can't wait for season 6 to get announced and for them to start writing and all of that. So
Yeah.
just yeah, can't wait to see what's to come, because we have no idea, right? Just the way
Yeah.
things
No
ended.
idea.
People will be like up in my DMs like, hey, was that the last season? I go, slap yourself, because like Hayden is the biggest Terry Silver fan, right? Like if you follow Hayden, you would know that. And if you know Hayden, you would know that. There's no way Hayden's gonna let his man go to jail and that be at the end of it. There's just no
Right.
way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So
I'm just grateful for the experience as a whole, like doing the interview with you, getting to go back in time from season 1 to now. Like I'm just so appreciative, grateful. It's a huge blessing. And I don't take not a bit of it for granted. I love every part of it. And like you said, season 6, I'm excited for that. And praying, crossing my fingers, you get to see more, get to see more from me, character growth, more fighting, more badassery, so I'm just really happy, it's great.
yeah.
It's such a successful season for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody ought to be proud. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is no surprise. But yeah, it's quite an incredible season. And I tried telling Hayden, like, hey man, I'll work for free. If you guys need like a postal consultant, like I'm happy to do it. I don't know what a postal consultant would do, but like I had some feelings about Johnny kicking the mailbox, and the
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I remember that. That scene is hilarious.
yeah, it is. Yeah, season 5 was peak Johnny for sure.
Mhm.
But AJ, it's great speaking with you finally. I know we talk, but like finally get to hear some stories and inside and learn a little bit more about yourself growing up. So where can people find you if they want to give you a follow if they don't already?
All right, so you all can follow me on Instagram at AJ Entertains, and let's grow together. I'm excited for all the followers. Cobra Kai for life. I'm a loyal one, and it was great getting to talk to you too, Peter. It's been a while, and finally, seeing it come to light, like we finally talking, like we're doing it, you know. It's
Right.
great. It's great. And I know there's more. There's plenty more to come. So I'm not gonna say goodbye. I'm just gonna say see you later. Cause
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
That's right.
And
'Cause
I ain't
Cobra
forget
Kai
about
never
my dance
dies.
either. I ain't forget about my dance either. I know, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah,
But
I
Cobra
mean,
Kai never dies for sure.
yeah, but now that we got this on recording, like you got receipts, so like you have to hold me up to it, right? Like
Mhm.
it's a matter of my
Yeah, I'm gonna send my followers on you, Peter. I'm gonna
yes,
send them to your DMs.
yes, send them my way. Tell them to follow me too.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right, AJ. And for those that are tuning in and don't already, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Cobra Kai Pod on Twitter and at Cobra Kai Kompanion on Instagram. We got a website, Cobra Kai Kompanion with a K.com. All the interviews are there. So check them out. AJ is going to be interviewing 120.
Ooh,
So 120 interviews in the last 5
nice.
seasons. So we finally did it. So thanks again, AJ, and thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.